So what are you going to do with that faith? This unstoppable faith. What are you going to do with it? One of my all-time favorite places is Gettysburg. I love the Civil War. Gettysburg, you have no idea until you study history how close our nation came to be permanently divided because of it. It's a fascinating battle. The South came from the North and the North came from the South. That's how I love that. But it's there, and you read about Pickett's charge. I walked that field of that horrible charge that Robert E. Lee said was his greatest mistake, of having General Pickett charge that open field, and very few of his men reached the northern lines. But it was over on facing the south, the left side of their wing, on a little flat area called Little Round Top. It was there by a young man, a nobody, Joshua Chamberlain. He was a school teacher. Isn't that fascinating? He was a school teacher in Maine, and he was, because he was educated, he was a lieutenant at the time. They thought, after all these battles, they thought he was killed 4 different times. He was promoted in the end. I believe he ended up being a brigadier general, and he was promoted repeatedly because they thought he was dead, and they field promoted him 4 different times. They thought he was dead. By the way, he didn't die. He lived throughout the Civil War. Joshua Chamberlain is one of the greatest unsung American heroes that ever lived. Maybe greater than any other hero. He single-handedly is the reason America exists the way it is today and did not become divided. Over on the left side of the flank of the military, him and the 20th Maine, just a group of boys, just a bunch of guys. They weren't real soldiers. They were just a group of guys over on the left flank trying to hold a line at Gettysburg. And if they didn't hold it, that little flat top area would have turned in a way for that the South could have put a garrison of troops and with artillery could have just decimated the northern lines. The South would have won Gettysburg and everything, and the whole war would have ended completely different. You have no idea until you study it how close we were to losing that war, and it would have been a draw. There would have been a Confederate States today. There would have been Northern States, but they were holding it against the 15th Alabama. And they were holding it there for 3 days against them. And the Alabama boys would come charging. They do that rebel yell that is just piercing into your soul. And the 20th of Maine would hold them back and push them back. Until finally, here at the last day of the battle, the 20th of Maine ran out of ammunition. They had nothing more to fight. They had nothing more to shoot. What were they supposed to do? Because they knew those Alabama boys were still going to come. So Joshua Chamberlain came up with an idea, and I have literally walked the ground that these men did. I remember walking it and feeling, you could feel the history there. I remember crying, thinking of what they did. He told them, and you can see in this video here of Jeff Chamberlain reenacting it, he told them, fix bayonets. This is what we're going to do. They've been charging at us the entire time. We're going to take whatever we have, and we're going to charge at them. And what he did is execute what's called a swinging gate, meaning they pivoted. The Alabama boys came running up, and he had his men come charging down. They were not used to Yankees doing this, by the way. He had them come charging down with bayonets fixed, no ammunition in their gun, and they swang down on a gate and trapped them in there. And the Alabama men who had ammunition in their gun surrendered to all the Yankees who had no ammunition in their gun. They were completely shocked, dismayed, and they dropped their loaded guns and surrendered to guys who had nothing inside their gun. It was a swinging gate, and it completely worked. And Joshua Chamberlain saved America on a small little Pennsylvania field, on a small little flat area called Little Round Top, and he saved the world, and he saved our country by just taking whatever he had available and charged into the enemy. May I say to you, I don't see how that's not the same thing that we as believers are supposed to do. You take whatever God has given you and you charge the enemy with it. You charge for Jesus. You charge for freedom. You charge with liberty. You may make mistakes. You may fall down. You may have to apologize to people and realize, well, I was really wrong on trying to do it this way. But either way, you have freedom in Christ to charge the enemy. You take the greatest weapon you have, your testimony. And you think that your testimony is this horrible, horrible story of what people did to you and how you have tried to recreate your life through it. And you take that testimony and you fix bayonets and you charge the enemy with it and say, this is what Jesus did for me. I may not have any ammunition, but I've got Jesus, and that's all I need. Faith and faith alone in Jesus. One man with enough guts to take everything he had and charge the enemy, saved a nation. What can you do if you take the one thing you have, your faith in Jesus, and fix bayonets and charge the enemy? Faith in Jesus is unstoppable. And that, children, is your history lesson for the day.